All right, so this is like my little Brady Bunch of me's, and we are going to learn today how to take a photograph and do some warping to really get it ready for stylization. So these are my choices that I took different photos of me. The purpose that I'm going to use my photo for is for a YouTube icon. So I'm going to go with this one that's on the bottom right, and because I like the straightforward ones for that super tiny icon that it's going to be. So I'm going to click on here and hit F for full screen and zoom in, and hi, it's super intense. And I think that the what is happening here is there's a little bit of warping already from doing a selfie. There's also not much lighting for the particular assignment that we're going to do, so I'll be adding lighting when we get into the program that we're going to use, which is Illustrator. So I'm in Photoshop 2020, and there's some new tools that help you to select differently. So there's the quick select tool, which helps you to kind of Command Z. I can just so that you know, the select tool kind of helps you to kind of quickly select stuff. I can hold down Shift and quickly select this stuff, and it's pretty good, right? I would need to lasso and Shift and get this little earring. Oops. Command Z. I would have to Option with that lasso tool and click and get some of these things. And it's not going to be too accurate for this stuff because of the way that it's working. Like I maybe want to get this little hair that it's sticking up. Command Z, Option, because I was grabbing the door. Okay, so that's one way that you can go. Or you can use the select tool with select subject. So this will discard the current selection. That's going to be okay. So I'll just keep going. We're going to select the subject, and bam, it really does it all for you. So that's pretty fantastic. Same kind of things was happening where I might have to get that hair, but when I'm looking at it, I might not want that stuff anyways. So I'm going to leave it out. You can see that it did get the earring in there, so that's pretty sweet. So now I'm going to go to layers. We're in Photoshop. I'm going to duplicate this background layer. So I'm going to double click it to rename it. I'm going to call that Orig. And then I'm going to click Option or Alt on a PC and drag that up and turn the original off. And what you can then do is Command-Shift-I selects inverse the selection. So I can fill this with, for example, something gray. So I'm going to click on the colors. I'm going to grab mid-gray and G for dump, and then you can see that it's dumping not very well. It's kind of interesting stylistically, but I really wanted to dump the whole thing, so fill. And you can choose to do the foreground color, or in this case, I'll do 50% gray because that's what I was aiming for anyway, so Command D. So it's a pretty fast way to get at trying to get at the subject. You can kind of go in and do more things with it, but I think that this is a pretty good selection. I'm going to turn it on and off, but you can see it's kind of getting at some of the hairs that I would maybe want to play with in terms of some of the stylization. So I'm going to try this again. I'm going to hold down Option on that original. I'm going to turn this one off. I'm going to hit Select Subject again by clicking this, Select Subject. And now I'm going to grab the L tool. So L is for lasso. I'm going to hold down Shift, which gives me that little plus there. I'm going to go around and collect some of these little fun doohickey hairs, which Photoshop thinks are not fun, but I do. I think it's a way to get at some interesting style when we get into working at the style. So I'm going to add that stuff in there. I'm going to add this shape in there. And I'm going to add this shape in here. And a little bit here. And I can always get more style shapes when we try to work with it in in Illustrator because we're going to actually use a lot of shape tools there. So this is going to be pretty good. So now I'm going to Command Shift I, and then I'm going to edit, fill, and fill with 50% gray. So I'm digging that, Command D. Right, so now we're going to talk about how to work with this and warp this out. So this is original to copy. This is something that I do like, so I'm going to call this one hair more selected. Okay, and turn these other ones off, and we're going to call these ones originals. So Command G will group it together, and then I can double click to name that group, and I'm going to call these orig. This is something that you can kind of come back to later if you need to. You can always make another adjustment if you need to, if you've made a mistake on something like this. So this one, I'm going to hold down Option and drag that one into there. So I now have multiples of that. Okay, so now this one is one that I can really alter and play with. So I'd like to do that. So the next thing I'm going to do is go into Filter and Liquify, which is right here. And Liquify is a tool that can really help us to do a lot more warping. So I'm going to play with that in that way. I'm going to start by doing quite a lot of stylization by pushing the neck in. All right, you see how we're really pulling that in? And bring my face a little bit bigger. So I'm bracketing, so the brackets next to the O and the P. The one that's on the left is making my brush smaller, and the one that's on the right is making it bigger. So I'm going to bring it right about to here and right about to here. And it's kind of messing with my mouth a little bit, so I want to make sure that I don't, that's wonky, right? You don't want to like go too crazy. So there is a tool right here which is called the Reconstruct tool. And if I just scrub on it, it's going to make everything kind of come back. I'll reconstruct this whole thing. So this was back to the original, right? Okay, so actually before I jump into that, you can also hit cancel if you wanted to. You can play with the eye size, like playing with the eye sizes, right? Eye height, and you can kind of mangle yourself out. Eye width. Just trying to get things to sort of feel consistent, but you can see there's a tilt here. And the eye distance. So those are some fun things to play with. Nose height. I'm going to bring that in so I can really focus on my mouth being bigger. So keep the nose kind of wide because I'm going to really give more smile, give a little bit more upper lip, more lower lip. Mouth width, I'm just going to spread that out. Mouth height. So the idea here is I'm kind of keeping it pretty natural, but I'm making it something that can be seen at a very small size. That's my goal, to make it all fit within a little circle. Whoa! You guys did not need to see my teeth that much. Okay, so face shape. Let's play with that. Forehead, you can extend or push these out. Chin height. Jawline, face width. So those are pretty fun to play with. Now I've got the head more or less how I would like it, but I'd like to make the hair quite a bit bigger. And so this is what I'm going to do here, is really pull this stuff up using the bracket right now to make this kind of come together. So I'm going to really kind of be giving myself some big Texas style hair. And I think sometimes there's too much exaggeration, so you kind of have to pull things down. And then I've also got somewhat of a crooked mouth, so I'm going to like take that mouth down and this over. There we go. So, oh my gosh, sometimes it's too crazy and then you're gonna have to just pull yourself back. So in entertainment industry, people don't look how they really are. This is sort of maybe more of an exaggeration of it, but I'm gonna give myself a longer neck and a skinnier neck, and that will be a way to have me be a little bit more like that. All right, so now I'm gonna just focus on that center part. I'm liking generally the way that that is. I might need to give myself some hoops or something like that, but sure, why not? This is preview, so this is the original, and then this is the new one. Sometimes when I do these, you go a little bit too far, so it feels like the eyes have a little bit of a different size. So I'm going to go back up to the eyes and play with that. Like, I think that this one on the right needs to get a little bit bigger, and maybe the eye tilt differently. It's weird because of my glasses, but I think that it's probably going to work. There are things like the bloat tool. So if you take a bloat tool, so for example, if I wanted to get one of these to get bigger, you could bloat these out, but I'm going to reconstruct that section because I liked the way that those were handling. Although I do like that little bloat, so you could bloat. So I'm just kind of pushing when I do these bloats. Oops, that's not bloat. So pushing them out. And it's just helping me to get them to feel a little bit larger than they were initially. There's also the pucker tool. So pucker brings things in. So if I wanted to, for example, pucker the eye, it will bring that in. I'm going to Command Z that. Pucker this in. Pucker. So that's a way to get some size variation on that. Not too concerned with what's on the bottom, so I'm going to move forward. I'm going to say, take a look at the preview. Do you want to manipulate this a little bit? And this is maybe just because I'm being perfectionist on me, but here we go. I'm liking that better. Okay, so say okay. Okay, I know this is super intense and it's maybe a little bit funny, but here we go. I am going to work within a circle, so I'm just going to make this even larger, or actually I have to click like that. So my circle is going to be about like that big. I'm going to actually go from the center right now, Shift, Option, nope, Shift, no, Marquee. You have to click first and then Shift and Option, then you're going to be able to get it. So that is what I'm thinking about, something like that. So it's wondering, do you want to fill it with something? Sure, let's fill it with that. But I want it to then be, let's see, I need to go back to the layers. On the outside of that is what I want it to be. So this is a smart object. So I'm going to go to, first I'm going to give it no stroke, and cancel because I'm clicking off. Okay, so layer, rasterize. You may not need to do this for your particular piece, but the rasterize a shape. And then I'm gonna hit W, that gives me my magic wand tool, but I don't want it to be that quick select tool, just the regular magic wand tool. And outside of this, I'm then gonna have a mask. So then I've selected that, and I'm going to fill that with black. So G, dump, Command, Shift I, and then delete. Okay, so that's a little bit closer to what I want. Command D, V is the move tool. And I can move this all around until it's about where I want it to be. And I might even need to Command T, move in closer to it. So Command 0 or Command period to stop my transformation. Z to zoom out. Command T, hold down Option, so it goes to the center point. And I might not be dealing with that stuff at all on the necklace. this is kind of helping me to decide how much of that stuff I want to work with. So one thing to consider is that if you're doing it for like a YouTube image, it's going to be like just kind of like that big. So I do think having it zoom in a lot more will be helpful. So I'm going to hold down Option, and that's what I'll be working with, I think. Yeah, so I don't have to even worry about the necklace at all. It's really what it is telling me. I don't want the chin to be kind of cut off, so V, and then moving down. Okay, so this is a good start to get me into working in the next stage, which is to come into Illustrator. Okay, I hope you guys have fun with this. It makes you maybe look a little bit more wonky than you want, or you can really play with it. But I want you to mainly think about what is the purpose of the image, and what are you going to be doing with this image that will help you to really have an understanding of where you need to go. So this would have been my normal one, right? And then this is one that's been adjusted, right? So I'm going to play with it more on that range because I want to have a little bit more style going in it. Okay, good luck, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.